Hi, my name is Myong from Project Studios Photography and Video, and I've been shooting weddings for over 18 years. Now, there's some important things that you have to know when taking photos. As a photographer, since there's really not that much time to give you that much guidance, the most we can do is just kind of tell you, hey, stand together, face each other, put your hand there and hips there, and smile. Right? We don't really want to or have time to give you guys the training so that way you look your best in all the photos. But of course, we'll do our best during that time. But it's so much better if you are actually prepared. And it makes it so much more fun for everybody when everything just kind of flows and you're not too nervous about the way you look in the photos. And as a photographer, it also kind of makes it really fun when the couple comes in and they're camera ready. So we get to just really have fun and shoot a lot. Instead of spending half the time trying to help pose the couple, which is totally fine, which is 99% of the time, but that 1%, it could be really cool. So for the woman, I'm gonna talk about how to pose for a woman, bride, for engagement photos, for the groom, for the guys, and for when you guys are together. So this is great for engagement photos and doing the formal couple photos during the wedding, but it's also cool to know when you're taking your own photos or any other photos like that. So, tip for the ladies. So the very first thing that you want to do is posture, obviously, right? And if you are naturally kind of slouching most of the time, which I personally slouch most of the time, just kind of have a habit of having a good posture, right? So, very basic. And the second basic thing that you should know is to practice your smile in front of a mirror. I personally don't even practice in front of a mirror myself, but it's nice for you to do that. So that way you know how big your smile should be or how small. Because most of the time when I do take photos of a bride, for example, and I know that she doesn't have a comfortable smile that she has a go-to, that she goes to, I would ask her to give me 5 different smiles when I'm taking the exact same photos, and then I'll pick the very best smile, which is fine. But if you have your go-to smile that always looks great, then that's the one you should definitely do. Because I mean, it's kind of funny, right? If some people's smiles real big and their eyes are closed, and some people just don't even really have a smile. So smiling is definitely important because most of the photos you want to be smiling. Some of them, of course, if you want to look cool, you don't have to smile, but smiling is very important. Tip number 2 for the ladies, don't hide the neck. You don't ever want to put your, neck down or hide it or anything like that. You want to showcase the neck. So you want to be straight up, you want to kind of slender out this way. You don't really want to kind of pull in this way. And talking about the neck, you could help make your neck look more slender and your bottom of your chin look more slender simply by sticking your tongue all the way to the roof of your mouth. And to even help make it look a little more slender, instead of tucking back in when you're taking your photos, you could simply push the tongue on top of the roof and then protrude your neck out just a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit, so that way it becomes nice and slender and long. It's definitely not for everybody, but for some people it could definitely help. Now when you're standing, I definitely don't want you to stand straight like this to take your photos unless that photo calls for it, right? Because I do take some photos, people are standing right side by side and they're just standing this way. But even then, I still want you to have a habit of mostly leaning on one of the foot. So if I was to stand and about to take a photo, I'd rather be leaning with your feet shoulder width apart. You want to kind of like lean to one side. So you have your hips kind of coming out this way, and then your upper torso area kind of leans the other way. And you get to just kind of look, so instead of looking really stiff like that and taking a photo, you could kind of lean forward and then just, give it a little bit of curve on the body and on the hips, and you're ready to kind of pose. So with your right foot, you could either stick it inward, bring it inside, or you could kind of pop it outwards. So that's very important to do, just kind of like leaning on the hips. Also, regarding the hips, when you are facing forward, another good technique is to have your one foot in front of you. And then you get to then put your hips on the side and then just kind of like relax your upper body a little bit. So it's nice to just kind of have a little bit of movement, almost kind of like an S curve instead of looking very stiff like that. So Another technique is you want to, for the ladies, stand in an angle, right? It also helps your body look, it gives it a shape. So if you were to compare to standing this way, if you give it a little bit of an angle look, then it's a nice, curvy, pleasant looking pose. And also with your arm, you don't want to push it against the side because then, of course, your muscles will come out and you're gonna get this big traps, and so you don't want that kind of look. And at the same time, you want to bend your elbow just a little bit. You don't want the arms to be straight down, but when you are standing in an angle, you could kind of pop out a little bit and get a little bit of gap between the arms and the body, so it shows, the shape of your body and your arm. Otherwise, if it's too close, it just looks like a one big body. So it helps out a little bit to kind of just pop out a little and just kind of hang there. Instead of, you could do that, but it is pretty, strong L right there. So you want to just kind of pop it out a little bit. Now, if you do, I love to have the arms and the hips in a lot of my photos. So if you do that pose, you definitely want to not stick it out straight up this way, but you kind of want to just pop it back a little bit. So that way it's not so big on the photos. You could kind of pop it a little bit and then it looks a little less. You could, put your hand this way. It's a little bit more slender looking instead of looking like a Superman pose. Now another good pose is, of course, crossing your arms. It's not for everybody. It depends on your body type if arms crossing is meant for you or not. Because if you are naturally muscular, then crossing your arms could just make you look even more muscular. But even then, if you do want to cross your arm, or if the photographer is asking you to cross your arms, don't do a regular arm cross like that. You kind of want to just, place your hand together this way, and at the same time, like I said before, you want to angle it a little bit to the side as well. You could just gently hold on to your arms. You don't want a weird, awkward, this. I've seen this one, and I've seen just like this firm looking thing. Just with your fingers, you want to just be loose with it. So whatever you're doing with your hands, you want to be loose. You want to just kind of pop it out to the side, just hold on to it, and you're not just grabbing it like this. You want to just loosen it up a little bit and pop out to the side. And whenever your hand is in view, like let's say you want to pop it out and just kind of put it on top, you don't want to make any strong gesture, right? You don't want to make a big fist. You don't want to just, put a claw on it. You want to just kind of loosen it up, and you could just pop it here, just very soft. You're pretty much just letting it land, right? So this way. And also when you are crossing, if you can, it does help when you cross a little more. So you could cross this way, but you could even push towards each other a little bit more, and then you could just kind of, it helps create a little shape on your body as well. So it's all about making shape with your body with the photos. Right, now for the guys. For the guys, there isn't too many things they can do to help make them look better, but there's some things that they shouldn't do so that way they do look good in the photos, right? First off, like I mentioned with the ladies, you definitely have to have good posture. You don't want to slouch, and you don't want to, look too buff, just like that, right? You want to just kind of stand tall and just kind of practice having a good posture for that day. Because I naturally, personally, I slouch most of the time. So like when I want to be camera ready, for example, I definitely, have to think about just posturing up and, looking your best. And also, similar to the ladies, just have a small practice to go to the mirror and practice your best smile. Find your best angle, especially for the ladies. The ladies love having their specific angle. And I've seen some brides who only could shoot that side because she swears that's her best angle, even though to me, she looks great on any angle. But anyways, it is good to have a certain side that you prefer. It's okay. It's okay to have that for yourself. Now for the groom, when you stand, it's not the same as the bride where, you should lean on one leg. I think to me, it looks great because by standing straight, you look like a soldier. You know what I mean? I was in the military too, so it's nice to stand straight, and then you get to hold on to your blazer. You get to put your hands in front of you. You could even angle it a little bit this way. So there's, as long as you're looking, masculine and strong, that's what it's really about. That helps you look great in your photos, while your bride looks, very feminine and curvy. So it just kind of really does a good job putting that together to create a beautiful image. What do we do with the hands, right? You could simply put it in your pocket. You could put it inside there, and you could pop your thumb out if you want to, depending. Some people, for some reason, looks better if their hands are fully inside the pocket, but some people, for some reason, it looks good with just a thumb in the pocket. I think it has to do with the size of your arm and the torso, and maybe how tight the jean pockets are, right, or the pants pockets. So that's another good pose to have as well. And when you do put your hands in a pocket and you got the blazer, just be sure that the blazer isn't behind your arm. It's just kind of tucking right under it, and you get to put it right on it. I should have gotten my blazer. I apologize for not having a blazer with me. So you could simply just do that. Pop one arm out this way. You could even switch, and then you could just, boom, put your hands together. You could even hold on to your wrist, hold on to your hand. And then for the guys, you could definitely just, pose like a regular arms crossed, just like that, and just, give it that little tough look a little bit, right? So that's a good look for the guys. And also, you can, just like the ladies, do the similar thing of leaning on one foot more than the other. So you can just kind of pop out to the side. My feet is up. I'm 90% on my right foot, and then you get to lean back, to the side. Put your hands in your pocket and just totally relax and just look like you just don't even care. Just like, yeah, I'm cool. All right, so now when taking photos together, most of the time you guys are gonna be holding each other, right? So as the guy, when you are holding your girl, you can show a little bit of side view this way, but it's always best to kind of turn just a little bit so you get a little bit of the chest view. You don't want it to be just arms. You want it just this way. And for the ladies, also the same thing. You don't want it to be just arms. You also want to be turning slightly in. And with the hands that's in the front, it's always best to put it on his chest, put it on his waist. You want to do something. You want to have some kind of connection with your soon-to-be husband. For the guys, even though I do want you to stand up tall, I do want you to kind of lean your head towards your lady just a little bit. So instead of like, I have some photos where the guy just standing real tall and it just looks like as if he doesn't want to be near her, right? Even though that's not what he's trying to do. He just wants to make sure that he looks his best. I just snorted right there. I apologize for that. When you hold your lady, you definitely want to kind of like lean just a little bit towards her. So that way both of your heads are kind of leaning towards each other. And that's always pleasant to have. And also another pose is when the guy is behind the girl and holding her by the neck or by the waist. If your fiance's face is right here, you don't want to hold like this and just pop out like that, right? You don't want to be like, boop. You want to hold your lady and just kind of pop out a little bit this way. And at the same time, you don't want your head, if she's up here, you don't want your head to be so far from her, and because then your face will look small in the photo. So when you pop out to the side, lean forward just a little bit, just not too much, but just enough so that way your face is somewhat close to your girls right there. So that's important to do when facing each other. And also for the ladies, when you are asked to hold your man, because there's so many couple photos that we're gonna, obviously you have to hold each other, right? So one of them is to hold each other's hand this way. For the guys, you're holding it like this. You're making a little C right here, because that's when you grab the girl's hand when you dance with her, right? You want to grab the girl's hand just like that, boom, and then you get to lead her. It's like, it's like salsa a little bit, right? You get to hold on to the, and that's similar as when you guys are holding each other's hand. I don't want you guys to, bam, or make this little grip like that, or even like that. That's kind of like a friendly way, but it's like a gentleman way to just give her your hand, boom, and let her just lightly put her fingers on it, and you get to just hold on to her hand with a thumb. So keep in mind that's also how you slow dance with your ladies. So you do that, and you could do that with both hands. So for the ladies, when you guys are facing each other, I also don't want you to stand straight up looking at your man just like that. I definitely want you to have at least one foot backwards. You could just step back a little bit, and then just, you know, create a different shape with your body just by simply doing that instead of a straight line. And you could also, even when they ask you to kiss, you could even, you know, lift up the bottom feet up a little bit, just like that. So here are some of the poses for the ladies when you are sitting down. Simple things, which such as you don't want to lean back and look as if you're, you know, just feeling lazy. You don't want to just, you know, slouch around for sure, right? So for the ladies, you want to always have a good posture. You don't want to face forward like this, kind of very just in your face. You want to just kind of come to the side, sitting at the edge of the chair or the bench or anything. And you could put your feet together and make a little L shape with your legs. And then you could have your hands on your thighs or holding the flower or holding your man. It's always nice to hold your man. If a guy gives you his arm, whether you're standing or sitting, it's always nice to put your hand in there, and then both with a ring hand, you know, just have it right on his arm, just like that. So instead of just holding it, just arm dangling down, you know, it's nice to do this and lean on his arm, or, you know, just get close to him, just like that. You want him to look like as if you are the one who loves him, and he's the hero that's cool, and for some reason that just always looks amazing for me. Just makes it look cool, right? Yeah, give the guy a break. Come on, even though we all know us guys are the one that's more in love with the ladies. But anyways, that's besides the point. So for the guys, I love taking photos of guys sitting down. You don't want to sit down and just kind of be like, okay, take my photo, or all right, take my photo. There are some cool poses you can do. You don't want to face straight into the camera with your legs apart like this, and then you're this is very obtrusive, right? So you don't want that. You also want to kind of have one hip forward, and then sitting at the edge of the chair. And then you could, on top of having a good posture, up, photo number one. And then you could also even lean, you know, just how guys, we normally sit this way anyways, right? You lean forward, you know, you got your hand up this way. You could look to the left, you could look at the camera. You could look here, you know, maybe we don't want to do this like as if you're praying, but it's kind of nice to stand here. So I just want to throw in a couple of more tips for posing during the wedding. And when you guys are up in the altar, for example, and you guys are doing the ring, we want you to show the ring to everybody. Show the ring to everybody. Show the ring to us. A lot of times, us photographers, we forget to remind you about that. And sometimes when I do forget to remind you, you know, the groom is kind of just hiding and he's back on everybody and he's just jamming the ring and we can't even see the ring. And as a photographer, you don't want the photographer to try to go in like, oh, let's get that ring shot, or yeah, that's a horrible etiquette that every photographer should know never to do, to go and ruin the whole ceremony just so they could get their shots. You could easily reenact it later if they want a close-up shot, but whole different topic. But so then when you do put the ring on, show everybody the ring. You know, you start off, you're holding it this way, everybody sees it, and then when it's time to put the finger on, ring inside the finger, boom, just kind of show everybody what's going on, and vice versa. And just take your time. You don't have to jam it in there and then you're good. It is very important. I love that shot. And also, when you guys are doing your first kiss, kind of hold it just a few seconds instead of just pecking and you're done and we totally miss it. Just kind of hold it and give a chance for, you know, people to celebrate this first beautiful kiss that you guys have, and for the photographers and the videographers to get that beautiful, epic, once-in-a-lifetime shot. So hold on to that. And also, kissing. For when we do the couple shoot, you want to kiss in a comic way, right? You don't really want to have a real, you know, lean your head and you're just making out. You kind of want to just be like a cartoon almost. So when you're kissing, you're just and then you know, so that's how you want to kiss during photos. So that way you get a nice, and you can see the nice profile photo of both you and your fiance. So that's important. Another quick tip that's important during wedding is I'm sitting down for a purpose, because when the best man, the maid of honor, is doing their speeches and you and your fiance is sitting down on the table, just keep in mind not to just be leaning back and you know, so you kind of want to look your best. So you want to have a good posture, hands in the front. You know, you could put your arm up there, you could put your hand down there. You could just sit up right next to your fiance or your husband and wife. And then just make sure you are camera ready for that part also, because there's gonna be a lot of photos taken of you during that time. So that's important. All right, guys, so that concludes my video on how to pose for engagement, wedding, or any fun photo that you guys want to take. I hope you got something, a cool, quick tip out of it, and I hope to see you guys next time.